Good morning, good afternoon. Today I will walk you through our tutorial survey, Data Centers in the Age of AI, which was just accepted in the Journal of Network and Computer Applications. This work takes an integrated view of how data centers are being fundamentally reshaped by AI workloads, covering infrastructure, power, cooling, sustainability, and the emerging role of networks. Let's get started. Data centers already consume between 2 and 3% of the world's electricity, and that number is expected to rise sharply by 2030 as AI workloads continues to scale. A single AI-generated response can require roughly 10 times more energy than a traditional web search. According to the IEA, global data center electricity demand could exceed 945 terawatt hours by 2030. Even training GPT-4 is estimated to have consumed between 51 and 62 gigawatt hours of energy. These are not just technical metrics. They represent real pressure on power grids, growing water consumption, and increasing carbon accountability. This is exactly the challenge our survey addresses. We bring together power infrastructure, advanced cooling, optical network, digital twins, and sustainability into a single unified framework for understanding the future of AI infrastructure. Traditional data centers have historically been classified by ownership model and deployment scale. Enterprise, colocation, hyperscale, edge, and modular infrastructure. But the rise of AI is changing the meaning of data center itself. These traditional categories no longer fully capture the operational demands created by modern workloads. In this work, we introduce two additional categories defined not by ownership, but by workload behavior. AI training facilities are optimized for massive GPU clusters with rack densities ranging from 30 to more than 120 kilowatts per rack, where advanced liquid cooling becomes essential. AI inference facilities operate at lower average densities, but they are highly latency sensitive and increasingly distributed closer to the edge. This AI-aware taxonomy, represented in the paper as a matrix combining power density and latency sensitivity, becomes the structural foundation for the rest of our analysis. Power usage effectiveness, or PUE, measures how efficiently a data center converts facility power into useful computing power. Over the last decade, the industry has made major progress improving average PUE values from roughly 2.0 in 2010 to about 146 today, with leading hyperscale operators approach 1.1. But AI is rapidly changing the scales of the problem. Modern AI training racks can consume between 60 and 100 kilowatts each, pushing entire campuses into the hundreds of megawatts range. As a result, efficiency improvements alone are no longer enough. The central challenge is now energy availability itself. In the paper, we compare three major energy supply strategies. Traditional grid power remains the dominant source, but it is increasingly constrained by transmission bottlenecks, long interconnection queues, and carbon-intensive generation mixes. Renewable energy offers major sustainability advantages, but inter- but its intermittence creates a strong dependency on large-scale energy storage. Small modular reactors or SMRs presents a potential long-term solution by providing near zero carbon baseload power that aligns well with the continuous load profile of AI clusters, although large-scale deployment is unlikely before 2030. Ultimately, the best energy strategy depends on regional grid conditions, reliability requirements, carbon objectives, and the operational profile of the AI infrastructure itself. Cooling accounts for 30 to 40% of total data center energy and is the pivotal constraint as rack density rises. We review the full spectrum from traditional room air to liquid immersion. Crack and crack systems are practical to about 20 kilowatts per rack. In in-row cooling and rear door heat exchangers extend that to 40 to 100 kilowatts and are retrofit friendly. Direct-to-chip cold plates are now essential above 30 to 40 kilowatts. NVIDIA's GB200 dissipates over 1 kilowatt per GPU continuously and up to 2.5 kilowatts at peak. Immersion cooling, both single-phase and two-phase, supports densities above 150 kilowatts with PUE approaching 1.03 and up to 90% energy savings over air-cooled baselines. Aquefied liquid cooling is no longer optional for AI. It's the enabling constraint. Water is become just as important as power in the future of AI infrastructure. As cooling systems shift toward liquid-based architectures, the ability to manage water consumption sustainably is now a strategic operational constraint. The chart on the left shows water usage effectiveness, or WUE, across major hyperscale operators. Meta and AWS operate with very low fleet-wide values, around 0.15 and to 0.18 liters per kilowatt hours, while Equinix report higher values due to diversity of cooling technology deployed across its global facility. Microsoft has also introduced closed-loop chip-level liquid cooling system designed to save more than 125 million liters of water per site each year. At the same time, the environmental impact extends beyond the water alone. Data centers already account for roughly 2% of global carbon emissions, a footprint compared to the aviation sector, and that share is expected to grow as AI adoption accelerates. This survey highlights three major opportunities to reduce this impact. First, waste heat reuse allows data centers to feed district, district heating system, transforming them from isolated energy consumers into contributors to urban energy ecosystem. Second, carbon-aware workloads scheduling can dynamically shift computation toward regions and time windows with lower carbon intensity, reducing emission by as much as 25 to 50%. And third, circular hardware strategies, including harvesting, reuse, and remanufacturing of accelerators, can significantly reduce the embodied carbon associated with the rapid GPU refresh cycles. This chart highlights the extraordinary growth in AI energy demand, dramatically from GPT-2 to GPT-4, increasing by multiple orders of magnitude, and projections for future frontier models already reach into the hundreds of gigawatt hours. But the larger long-term challenge is not training alone. It's the inference at global scale. Once deployed, a model may serve billions of queries continuously, and over time, the cumulative inference energy can surpass the original training cost. For perspective, a single GPT-4 query is estimated to consume around 0.42 watt hours, significantly higher than a traditional web search. At the scale of 1 billion queries per day, that translates into tens of gigawatt hours annually, comparable to the electricity consumption of an entire small town. This is why model efficiency is become a sustainability issue, not just a machine learning optimization problem. Techniques such as quantization, pruning, knowledge distillation, and low-rank factorization are essential to reduce the energy cost per token generated. This survey also highlights the importance of distributed inference and edge deployment frameworks. By moving inference closer to users, these architectures can reduce latency substantially whilst lowering the energy and transport burden placed on centralized cloud infrastructure. AI workloads generate enormous volumes of waste as traffic inside the data center itself. During distributed training, GPUs must constantly exchange gradients and synchronize model states, create extremely demanding requirements for bandwidth, latency, and network efficiency. In many large AI clusters, the network is become just as critical as the compute infrastructure. The optical network ecosystem is evolving rapidly to meet these demands. Current optical systems are already reaching 1.6 terabits per second, while IP over DWDM architectures are increasingly collapsing the traditional separation between IP and optical layer, reducing both latency and operational complexity. At the hyperscale scale, even the energy consumed by the networks becomes a major concern. Google's Jupyter Fabric, it is introduced MEMS-based optical circuit switching demonstrated that intelligent optical architectures can reduce network power consumption by more than 40%. And this challenge is growing fast. In modern AI campuses, optical interconnects already account for a meaningful fraction of total facility power, representing tens of megawatts consumed by massive fleets of transceivers. This is one of the reasons co-packaged optics has become such an important architectural direction. By integrating photonics directly alongside the switch ASIC, co-packaged opticals can dramatically reduce electrical losses and lower power consumption per transmitted bit. The operational model is also changing. AI-driven orchestration systems include agentic AI frameworks and graph neural networks are beginning to manage topology optimization, traffic engineer, and fault recovery autonomously. Instead of relying purely on static rule-based automation, networks are moving toward intent-driven operational control, capable of adapting dynamically to changing workload and infrastructure conditions. Digital twins are rapidly becoming one of the foundation technologies for intelligent AI infrastructure management. A digital twin continuously mirrors the real-time state of the facility, integrating information about IT load, cooling behavior, power system, environment conditions, and workload activity into a unified operational mode. What makes this especially powerful is the combination of physics-based modeling with AI-driven optimization. Physics-informed digital twins can predict energy behavior with very high accuracy, enabling closed-loop control systems that continuously optimize facility operation in real time. When combined with model predictive control techniques, this system can dynamically adjust the cooling, workload placement, and energy utilization based on changing operational conditions. Studies already demonstrate substantial reduction in operational carbon emission compared with traditional static provisioning approach. On top of this foundation, AIOps platforms add intelligent automation capabilities. They can optimize liquid cooling distribution across dense GPU clusters, shift inference workloads towards lower carbon energy windows, and predict failures in systems such as UPS infrastructure or transformers before disruptions occur. This is the operational layer where sustainability stops being a reporting metric and becomes an active control mechanism embedded directly into the infrastructure itself. To conclude, there are four central messages from this work. First, AI is fundamentally reshaping data center design. Sustained high-density operation is no longer an exception. It's become the new operational baseline, placing simultaneous pressure on power, delivering cooling system, water usage, and optical interconnects. Second, sustainability can no longer be measured only through incremental efficiency gain, such as lower PUE. The challenge now is absolute carbon reduction through systemic approaches that integrate energy source and cooling architecture, workload scheduling, and hardware lifecycle management. Third, infrastructure domains that were once treated separately are now deeply interconnected. power constraint affect cooling. Strategy. Cooling affects rack density. Rack density affects network architecture. And network limits directly influence AI scalability. And rack density affects network architecture. And network limits directly influence AI scalability. Co-design across this domain is no longer optional, it's essential. And finally, operational intelligence is become as important as physical infrastructure itself. Digital twin, AI ops platforms, telemetry-driven control, and workload-aware orchestration are transforming infrastructure from static facility and adaptive self-optimizing systems. Data centers are no longer just IT facilities. They now sit at the intersection of technology, sustainability, economics, and national sovereignty. The choice we make in designing and operating this infrastructure will shape not only the future of AI, but also its environmental and societal impact. Thank you very much.